Document title: H.R. 2670, National Defense Authorization Act for Fiscal Year 2024. Agency: United States Congress. Date: January 3, 2023. Notable for authorizing appropriations for military activities, defense activities, and military construction for fiscal year 2024. This is a declassified document from the archives of the Black Vault, a repository of publicly released government records. The canonical PDF can be found at https://archive.org. Download Curiosities, Cat Congress V1, 3DFA 50EA1B5FABD HR2670 NDAAFY24D, enrolled DJVU.txt. The document was released under unknown declassification authority with no FOIA case number provided. The release date is not specified. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled. Section 1. Short title. This act may be cited as the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2024. SEC. 2. Organization of Act into Divisions. Table of Contents. A. Divisions. This act is organized into 7 divisions as follows. 1. Division A, Department of Defense Authorizations. 2. Division B, Military Construction Authorizations. 3. Division C, Department of Energy National Security Authorizations and Other Authorizations. 4. Division D, Funding Tables. 5. Division E, Other Matters. 6. Division F, Department of State Authorization Act of 2028. 7. Division G, Intelligence Authorization Act for Fiscal Year 2024. B. Table of Contents. The table of contents for this act is as follows. Sec 101. Short title. Sec 2. Organization of Act into Divisions. Table of Contents. Section 3. Congressional Defense Committees. Section 4. Budgetary effects of this act. Division A. Department of Defense Authorizations. Title Y. Procurement. Subtitle A. Authorization of Appropriations. Sec. 101. Authorization of Appropriations. Subtitle B. Army Programs. Sec. 111. Limitation on availability of funds, pending assessment of Army trackless moving target systems. Sec. 112. Strategy for Army Tactical Wheeled Vehicle Program. Sec. 113. Report on acquisition strategies for the Logistics Augmentation Program of the Army. Subtitle C. Navy Programs. Sec. 121. Modification of requirements for minimum number of carrier air wings of the Navy. Sec. 122. Extension of prohibition on availability of funds for Navy port waterborne security barriers. Sec. 123. Multi-year procurement authority for Virginia-class submarine program. Sec. 124. Procurement authority for auxiliary personnel lighter program. Sec. 125. Limitation on reductions to V-22 aircraft nacelle improvement program. Sec. 126. Limitation on consideration of government-operated dry docks in certain contract solicitations. Sec. 127. Annual reports on use of government docks for ship repair and maintenance. Subtitle D. Air Force Programs. Sec. 181. Limitation on retirement of F-15 aircraft and modification of related reporting requirement. Sec. 132. Limitations and minimum inventory requirement relating to RQ-4 aircraft. Sec. 133. Temporary exception to minimum inventory requirement for fighter aircraft of the Air Force. Sec. 134. Modification of minimum inventory requirements for C-130 aircraft. Sec. 135. Modification of annual reports on T-7A Advanced Pilot Training System. Sec. 136. Modification to prohibition on certain reductions to B-1 bomber aircraft squadrons. Sec. 137. Modification of minimum inventory requirements for A-10 aircraft. Sec. 138. Procurement authority for over-the-horizon radar systems. Sec. 139. Prohibition on availability of funds for retirement of KC-135 aircraft. Sec. 140. Prohibition on reduction of KC-135 aircraft in PMAI of the reserve components. Section 141. Limitation on issuance of acquisition strategy for the KC 135 recapitalization program. Section 142, prohibition on certain reductions to inventory of E-3 airborne warning and control system aircraft. Section 143, prohibition on availability of funds for termination of production lines for certain aircraft. Section 144, limitation on procurement of KC-46A aircraft. Sec. 145, limitation on retirement of F-16CD aircraft. Sec. 146, limitation on actions relating to remote vision systems of KC-46A aircraft. Sec. 147, limitation on retirement of T-1A training aircraft. Sec. 148, plan for long-term Air Force fighter force structure. Subtitle E, defense-wide, joint, and multi-service matters. Sec. 151, annual report on force structure changes exhibit for the defense budget. Sec. 152, multi-year procurement authority for domestically processed critical minerals. Sec. 153, prohibition on solicitation of proprietary armor for certain tactical vehicles. Sec. 154, prohibition on availability of funds for procurement of certain batteries. Title II, research, development, test, and evaluation. Subtitle A, authorization of appropriations. Sec. 201, authorization of appropriations. Subtitle B, program requirements, restrictions, and limitations. Sec. 211, annual report on unfunded priorities of the Undersecretary of Defense for Research and Engineering. And Sec. 212, delegation of responsibility for certain research programs. Sec. 213, modification to Personnel Management Authority to attract experts in science and engineering. Section 214, clarifying role of partnership intermediaries to promote defense research and education. Section 215, Naval Air Warfare, Rapid Capabilities Office. Section 216, modification of support for research and development of bio-industrial manufacturing processes. Sec.